All right, good evening. It is June 12th, Planning Board. Welcome. Minutes. Everyone can read the minutes. Any changes, additions, deletions, comments? Motion to approve the minutes. Randy? Kathy? Favor? Great. Assuming Kevin's yes.
I wasn't here, so I was abstaining.
Oh, you were abstaining, so we were abstaining. We had one work section this week, which was the old 481 Sports Center, which is Saab Census. No, just Saab. Saab. Do we have anything scheduled for the next one yet? Nothing yet. Okay. All right. First up, Fisk Electric. So this one, give us a quick update.
Yeah, the last time we were here, we asked a series of revisions. One was granite curbing, which we've added to the entrances. There was also there was a tree that we had sought to cut down, but then I guess there's something about the Indiana bat, and so we're going to keep the tree up. It doesn't interfere with the construction of the building. It's in the rear, but that's been revised to stay. We've done the truck turning radius to enter the site, and basically that's it.
Okay. Well, seeing any questions, comments from the board? We'll entertain a motion then to approve the site plan last dated June 4th, 2025 with the following findings and conditions. This board reviewed the SDAF of the applicant dated May 9th, 2024 and issues a negative declaration for this unlisted action, finding no significant adverse environmental impacts in the project. Due to the proximity of residential uses, the applicant is reminded to comply with 126-6A of the town code, which prohibits noise from construction work before 7 a.m. and after 7:30 p.m., as well as unnecessary noise from the conduct of business and excessive noise in connection with loading and unloading of any vehicles. This approval is made with a further condition that this approval is for plans and other submitted documents, site plan documents that have been signed by the planning board chairperson and the applicant, and it's required that all of the work shown be completed by the applicant in order for a certificate of occupancy or compliance to be issued. Any proposed changes, solutions, or additions or deletions to the scope of work or materials from the site plan documents not approved are subject to further site plan review pursuant to County Code Section 192-122. Motion to approve. I'll move. Second, Doug, all in favor? Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, next up is the Tesla EV charger.
Hey, good evening. How are you? I'm Tim Neese from Tesla.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So this is another, I'd ask that you provide an update on where we stand with this one right now.
Yeah, so we had the first planning board and there were some comments to address. Quite a few were administrative and we addressed those on the plans, but there were some other ones like the ADA stall to match the town code, which we have revised. We revised the curbing to match the existing granite curb. And the utilities, some of the charging stations and infrastructure were running through the water lines, the town to do it. So we removed those chargers and they're no longer, in the easement there. Additionally, we provided some photos of the lighting that was requested, which is just actually lighting of the Tesla stations. And we added the planting schedule per the request and responded to all comments.
All right. So one of the things that I think Eric had reached out to you about was service provided by National Grid and moving all of that underground.
Correct. Yeah, Eric and I talked yesterday and today, and I'm still waiting on an answer from National Grid. They said they have to go stake that out before they can say whether or not that they can provide it underground.
So.
It is, oh, sorry.
No, so what I was gonna say is. The preference of this board would be to have it all underground, so we'd ask
Mhm.
that you exhaust all effort. With National
Understood.
Grid. You know, to move that service, the transformer underground, not have the overhead line. Added to the Wegmans lot.
Understood. And I'm gonna try to work with them to get them to complete a design that will be all underground, other than that overhead portion that's already in the overhead section of line as well. So I'm gonna work to get everything else underground, anything that would be in the lot. Correct, yep, where you're pointing right now.
So it would start there, underground service from the cursor
Ex-
over.
Exactly, that's where we're trying to start. They just have to find a new position for a new pole. Along that area where there's already a pole running.
Instead of having that overhead line running through.
Exactly. And I did advise National Grid that we're open to anywhere along that area where they already have overhead line, if they could just add a new pole and then run underground from there.
There are a number of poles along that. I don't know that we want to add. Is it, I mean,
I think for our service, they might have to add a pole. I think the reason they're talking about adding a pole is because all the poles are too overloaded at this time anyway. I think is the reason they want to do it. He hasn't specifically told me that. But I would guess that's why he added a pole in the lot earlier.
Are there changes to the on-ramp related to the 481 work that would affect what we're talking about here?
No, they're not. No, not changes to the on-ramp. No, it'll just be coming from a new pole on that same electrical line. And sorry, when I say it overloaded, I mean weight overloaded, not overloaded from an electrical capacity standpoint.
We just look at the typical detail for the charging station, the prefabricated mount one more time.
this one,
Yeah, could you just describe that one more time? Is it, first, is anything changed with that configuration and how it's being installed?
No, same configuration. So it comes pre-cast, already done concrete. We put that slab, we cut out a little bit of landscaping, put that slab down. It's already cast, set in place, and then we just run the conduit to that. And the electrical wire is actually already done. And NEC approved inside of the conduit that's already inside of that pre-slab.
And is this, how is the slab interfacing with the existing curb again?
It'll be flush.
It's just gonna
Yeah, it'll
go
be-
tight to it?
Exactly, it comes flush. So if the curb is here, the PSU comes right there. Flush with it, the top.
Where you can get the,
the top row, right? Not being able to scroll.
Yeah.
and there is no screening around the center transformer unit, correct?
So you're speaking about, so could you go back to the plan? Yeah, sorry.
Right there.
If you, yeah, so the supercharger cabinet, could you scroll up to the plan view real quick for us? So they do have we do have screening behind it. Those plants right behind
Black
it,
circles
yeah.
are bunkers.
Yep, that's plantings. And we called it out, it is juniperus.
Okay.
Any questions?
And they did provide the letter from Wegmans that Wegmans will be responsible for releasing the trash. You had made the comment to put a trash receptacle on the unit. Wegmans did provide us that letter.
Correct. Yeah, usually it's Tesla that provides that, and the landlord or the owner would police the trash, but Wegmans actually provides all their own receptacles.
Oh, so Wegmans gonna put the receptacle.
Yeah,
Or they're just gonna-
they will put the receptacle, and well, it depends on what they want to do on the site, generally speaking, but they would do the receptacle and they will police the trash. And they feel very confident in their customer base, taking care of their parking lot, and they take special, I think they do a pretty great job of taking care of their parking lots.
I'm gonna entertain a motion to approve the plan dated 5/8/2025 with the following findings and conditions. This board has reviewed the Onondaga County Planning Board Administrative Referral of 2/19/2025, wherein the County Planning Board took no position. This board has reviewed the SEAF of applicant dated 2/4/2025 and grants a negative secret declaration for this unlisted action. No significant adverse environmental impacts from the project. This is one of the conditions that we discussed. The plan approved is for the installation of EV chargers and accompanying improvements relating to the EV chargers only, with the condition that prior to installation, the National Grid above ground power pole applicant must provide proof to the Department of Planning and Zoning that it has exhausted all avenues of National Grid for the movement of the electrical service to underground prior to the submission of permit application. The existing site plan, you got that
Understood.
one?
Yep,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Existing site plan with respect to the Wegmans Plaza is not otherwise modified and remains in full force and effect, except as specifically modified herein. This approval is made with the further condition that this approval is for plans and other submitted documents that have been signed by the planning board chairperson, and the applicant requires that all of the work shown be completed by the applicant in order for a certificate of occupancy or compliance to be issued. Any proposed changes, additions, or deletions to the scope of work or materials in the site plan documents are not approved and are subject to further site plan review pursuant to the County Code section 192-122.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, so please work with National Grid to eliminate that illicit line. And I think everything will be all good, so.
Perfect.
Kevin,
So is
second,
Sorry, in the event that it's a no-go for underground service, it would just be configured as it's shown on the
Correct.
drawings.
Kevin first, second, Kathy second, all in favor? Great, thank you,
Thank you so much. You have a great night.
you too. Amazon. We have an applicant here for Amazon.
Yes, I'm Dave LaFrisco with Kimley Horn and joined with Patrick Hardy with Atlantic AE and Michael D'Angelo with
Mark.
Amazon. Or sorry,
That's
Mark
good.
D'Angelo
Hi.
with Amazon.
Did you get all this?
Mark D'Angelo with Amazon.
All right. Okay, this is another one that we've been working with the applicant on. You can give us just kind of a quick update. Benefit of the board.
Yep. So what you see on the screen here is a quick sketch up of the adjustments that we made when we last met. I think the idea was to have it to align more with the existing building. So we created a small parapet around it and then pitched the roof to the south so that it's similar. It looked like a flat roof, but it still allows us to have the drainage and snow slide off the back of the building. We've adjusted the colors on the outside to align with the colors of the building. I don't recall exactly what the names are. Dave, if you have those, please offer them, but it'll be like a light cream color, I believe, something of that nature. And then the lower half will be a gray. And it'll be we're gonna clad the lower, I think 36 inches in a material, so it looks like block, like the building does, the lower part of the building. We leave the only blue, Amazon blue around the entrance, which is on the east side of the building. So it won't be seen from the highway or Kirkville Road. This side, the front elevation is what we call it.
Right.
And I think those were the main points that we discussed last month, was having it look more like the existing building, or look not like it looked like it has been there since since we had the site developed, I think was the exact language of that nature.
Yep. Eric, can you confirm that the colors are actually listed on there?
Colors are listed.
Perfect.
Oh, there they are. Yeah, thank you.
What is the product that you're using for the cementitious panel? Are you using a Ford product?
So it's well, I'll let him answer, but I've used it on.
Let him answer.
Dave, do you have a cut sheet of that? I can pull mine up. My computer will work.
I can try and see if I can pull that up, but it's I want to say it's almost kind of like a ethos type setup where it's insulated, but then it's got a outer shell of concrete, so it's not like a heavy duty concrete base, but it's to imitate the concrete base on the building. And it's something that can be painted to match the exact same base color of the building.
But it's a cladding panel, essentially.
Yeah, concrete cladded.
Do you know the brand that you intend to use?
I believe we do.
It's called Wall Guard.
There you go. Yep.
I can
Walmart.
You can add it to the chat.
Where's the chat? I don't do Zoom a lot, but give me a second. I'll drop it in the chat here. There it is.
Here, I got it open. Here, I will add it into the chat right now.
You got it? Okay.
I've never seen it.
We'll talk about it after.
PVDF.
Huh?
Maybe PVDF.
ABP.
At some point, I got cut sheets of it, Nucor.
No,
That's a.
no, this is what it is here.
T-clear.
Yeah, wall guard. So it's
or
a,
tclear.com.
But it's hung like a,
it's clipped,
it's clipped onto it.
it's clipped on.
So where is his wall section that's showing us this?
It's, there is one in there. I don't think it's called out specifically as T-clear on there. It's called out as the kind of generic name for this.
You see that the cementitious insulated panel.
You go back to the drawing to the
Yeah,
wall section, and then on the bottom left,
oh, that's his wall section, just the building
the
section?
building section.
Okay.
Yeah, dead.
Yeah,
You missed
Yes.
it, you missed
Yeah.
it Berlin.
So the intent is between the cavity of the steel columns, you're going to have metal stud in there that just kind of goes up to that 3-foot mark. I think it's 3.5 feet. And then you're going to have exterior grade sheathing. And then this gets, there's a clip system that this cementitious wall panel will clip into. And then above that, there'll be some type of trim piece that'll go behind the metal panel above that, just to make sure water doesn't get behind there.
Yeah.
He's saying they're gonna frame it with a gauge inside.
and then they
And
put
then they're
their
gonna
sheet
mount
on
this
the
to the
outside.
outside. So.
I'm used to some of the things here and it just.
Other questions, comments?
So that landscaping, Mark, could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, again, I apologize. The landscaper that Montante was working with somehow disappeared on us, something. I know and it's been a wet spring, but that being said, we did get the topsoil laid down today. They've graded it out and gotten a hold of another landscaper who's going to bring in the specific trees that were on the EV approved site plan. I think Tuesday next week. So by Wednesday, I should be able to get you updated photographs of the new trees being planted the way they're supposed to be. It was very frustrating on my end. I've been begging them to get out there since the end of April, and we just got so much rain, and I don't know, no excuse, but it should have been done by now.
It will be done by Tuesday next week, you said?
That's what they're telling me right now. They're going to be delivered to the site on Tuesday, planted, and I should have pictures by the end of the day, Wednesday.
Yeah, and you'll provide those to Eric as soon as you have them.
Yes, I will.
Anything else on your end, Eric?
No.
No other questions, comments? Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the site plan last dated 3/27/2025, including the following drawings: C-0.0, 0.1, and C-1.0 to 7.2. Circulation plan dated 2/27/2025 and renderings dated 5/28/2025, and with the following findings and conditions. This plan is a modification to the existing site plan dated July 7th, 2020 and approved July 9th, 2020. And as modified by the approval relating to the EV charger installation approved June 8th, 2023. This revised site plan includes the addition of an accessory structure for the indoor automated inspections of vehicles, which are associated with use on site. The applicant has worked with the board to develop a structure reasonably compatible with a high-tech zone. The location of the accessory structure is in a location not generally visible to the public, which supports its compatibility on site. The addition of the accessory structure and attendant circulation and loading spaces, site plan improvements, results in the loss of 35 parking spaces on the site from the original existing site plan. The plan now labels 241 associate parking spaces and 628 van parking spaces. This is adequate parking per the code on site and is now the baseline required and allowable parking for the site. However, as a condition of the approval, this board reiterates that as represented by the applicant and as shown in the site plan approved 7/9/2020, the parking spaces in front of the main building on the site and fronting on Kirkville Road are not to be utilized as spaces for vans or other vehicles larger than passenger or small vehicles. This requirement is in keeping with the high-tech appearance and the requirements of this zoning district. This board has reviewed the Onondaga County Planning Board referral of 4/30/2025, which determined that said referral will have no significant adverse intercommunity or countywide implications. This board has reviewed the SEAF of applicant dated 4/7/2025 and grants a negative secret declaration for this unlisted action, no significant adverse environmental impacts from the project. This approval is made with a condition regarding utilization of the parking spaces as set forth above. A further condition of approval is that the electrical inspection by a town-approved electrical inspector be arranged by the applicant and for the EV charger installation be completed within 45 days of this approval with respect to the site plan approved dated 6/8/2023. When the final electrical inspection is completed, the town will inspect for final certificate of compliance, which must be in compliance with the June 8/2023 approval, including that all landscaping required thereon must be installed and approved. This approval is made with the further condition that, except as specifically modified herein, the planning board approval is 7/9/2020 and modified 6/8/2023, including all findings and conditions therein, is in full force and effect and unmodified. This approval is plans and other submitted documents that have been signed by the planning board chairperson and the applicant requires that all of the work shown be completed by the applicant in order for a certificate of occupancy or compliance to be issued. Any proposed changes, additions, or deletions to the scope of work or materials from site plan documents are not approved and are subject to further site plan review pursuant to the Town of Millwood Code Section 192-122. All those conditions make sense?
Yes, they do, sir.
Any additional comment, questions? Motion to approve? Doug? Second, all in favor? Great, thank you.
Thank you. Eric, just one question. Did we get squared away on the original TCO or CO that was issued way back when?
So the original one for the building, I believe so. That one in the resolution right here was about the EV charging project.
Yes.
We just don't have an electrical or final inspection on file for that project.
Okay, okay. I'll make sure I get those to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
All right, Canandaigua Bank. Representative online?
Yeah, Ed Keplinger Freeman Associates is here along with Jeff Ashline from Canandaigua National Bank.
Wonderful. This, what we're looking at tonight is a recommendation to the ZBA for a special use permit for a drive-through and an increase in the allowable building square footage, special business transition. You can give us just a quick run through where we are.
Okay, yeah, as you know, back in May, we submitted or we reviewed the project with the planning board. The board had some minor comments at that meeting, which we've addressed, and those comments included providing a plan showing vehicle stacking for the drive-through and teller lanes, providing a cut sheet for the generator with the noise levels provided. We provided the parking spaces to meet the town requirement of 9.5 feet wide by 19. And there we provided 26 spaces of that dimension. Let's see, and well, there's a couple of things on our to-do list. We still have to provide a multi-tenant sign package, which will come back. I guess that's separate, so that would be handled at another time. And I think that was it for changes since the last meeting.
So we'll have continued opportunity to work with them, see, elevation, aerials, and all that stuff. All we're doing tonight is recommendation to BDA.
Yeah, we did present elevations at the last meeting.
Yep. Yeah, we'll have another opportunity. We'll probably talk to you in the work session at some point here.
Sure.
All right. Any questions? I'm gonna this is for a recommendation. This is a positive recommendation to the Zoning Board of Appeals to grant a specific use permit for the proposed Canandaigua Bank building and its improvements. It's been a long day. This bank improvement is located on the easterly side of the large Wegmans Plaza site. A specific use permit is required for a drive-through incidental to a bank and for building size over 5,000 square feet in the special business transitional district. This improvement will not create significant additional traffic or noise and will virtually be visually unnoticeable by the nearby residential uses, as the residential property has long been protected by a significant berm and landscaping. The building and improvements as proposed are in any event visually appealing and compatible with the surroundings and the residential uses. Motion to approve the recommendation. Benny, second. Randy? All in favor? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you when you get out of ZBA.
Yep. Hopefully in 2 weeks, maybe.
There you go. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we have Verizon for newly newly designed signs.
Yes,
Welcome.
good evening. My name is Brian O'Connor, of Rolling Sign Company, appearing to Verizon. Last month, we had presented a rebranding of the existing building on Erie Boulevard. The board made it perfectly clear they did not want to see the building painted white. But they did make the recommendation that we take the Verizon branding, we put it on a white panel, and place it on the building, so that Verizon, the town would still have the gray building, and Verizon would have the branding of the new brand. So we worked with Eric to come up with the proper size as far as making sure that the signs were code compliant. And so that's what we're proposing and asking the board to approve.
Where do we start? I think it was certainly a step in the correct direction. I will speak for myself on this one. I think it still feels very large, especially when you look down at the one facing out to Genesee. We discussed this one Tuesday in our session. Is there an opportunity, keeping in closer size to the letters that are there, to actually connect the two white backgrounds on the corner so that it anchors the signage? I mean, we understand that you have two signs in there, and there is a way to make it comply within the 120 square feet with the size letters that are effectively there right now. I think you're increasing the letter sizes in there. But is it possible to connect those two white bands just on the corner and make it 120 square foot white band and then add the sign, the two signs in there?
So when we were talking with Verizon, with their design team, with the whole program, letter size, there's right size, there's clear space involved. The clear space for the old branding is different from the clear space on the new signage. Clear space is the spacing top and bottom for the letters. So the old clear space was based on check mark it's gone. The new clear space is based on the dot of the I. So that's how everything is based on backgrounds, building sizes, and
what is that clear space requirement?
At least one dot of the I, top and bottom, left and right. So we have I think 2 or 3 dots left and right. I believe we have 1 dot above and below the sign. What we also did was we tried to, because of this shrub here that was hiding the one sign, we tried to make the sign, the position of the signs make some sense. Mm-hmm. So this one, of course, centered over the windows here, facing Erie, and this one centered over the door. That's what we just tried to do.
Yep.
So, and also, to be honest with you, we also wanted to make sure the designer did not show this camera here, but we also didn't want to lose the cameras and have to reposition those. They're in the right spot as far as the Verizon security goes.
So it's the spacing you're talking about is not based off of measurement, it's just based off of portion from the eye, right? Do I understand that correctly?
Well, what we try and do is
The side,
you look at the code. We look at the code, what is permitted, in this case, 60 square foot per sign, 120 square foot total. And we tried to, quite honestly, since we're not able to paint the building, we're trying to maximize the square footage of the white so that the 60 square feet. That's where we actually started with the white background. And then size the lettering proportionate to the background.
I mean, if you could remove the white background with the lettering, I'd vote for it right now.
It's never going to be visible. The red's not going to be visible on the gray.
And you've
You
tested
can see
that?
the red check mark on it, right?
Yeah, is it lit?
This is lit, but it's just not going to be visible. This is like the gray, to be honest with you, we submitted also some signage that we've done in the Northeast, in central New York area. You know, the gray is being eliminated from the color program for Verizon. So this is Cicero. The gray was painted to white.
That almost disappears more.
This is
That the red changed, so see how it had a more of an orange tone before, like the Pantone color changed or something.
well, this is our color, our. This isn't exact. I can actually show you some samples. This is New Hartford.
Looks like the Verizon.
This is Johnson City. This is actually a panel with the channel letters installed in the mall.
Yeah,
This is Orchard Park, where the gray ACM panels were changed out to white ACM panels.
I feel left out.
This is an application where it's not practical to paint the buildings, so the letters are again mounted to a white panel. This is Bowie, Maryland. Bethesda, Maryland, same thing, changing out the ACM panels.
So I feel like these are more in proportion for the buildings that you're putting them on. The building is much taller. And I feel like the sign is proportioned. I feel like the sign that you're proposing is a bit a bit large.
In proportion.
Yeah, it's unproportionate to the elevation of the building. I think that's what we're saying. And
So-
I also liked Nate's, if we go back up to the actual sign, instead of looking at a barrage of signs of Verizon, yeah. So I also liked Nate's suggestion of wrapping the white around, so the two signs were somewhat attached. And maybe balancing them a little when you wrap it, and then you wouldn't be able to see either of those cameras, because they would be on a white background, right?
And I think that could work. I mean,
Yeah.
architecturally, I think it works a lot better and kind of
Me
anchors
too.
the corner with the
Right.
signs.
I had a sketch from the other day.
Yeah, but
Actually,
bring
get
the
those
white
sketchups.
down a
Just-
smidgen.
Well, they're gonna have to make it fit within the square footage. of
Oh, yeah, cause that would make,
But it
make
works.
more signs,
But.
yeah. But you're
yeah,
right,
so
it does work,
White band, so.
is then considered the sign.
Yeah, have a look at it. The
Mhm.
white band
Can we
becomes,
bring that back up?
Yeah.
I'm,
so
Their suggestion.
this is,
Boards.
this is a thought.
Who drew this?
Me.
You guys are so sweet to do his job.
Expedite. So in this instance here, this fits that 120 square foot, the white band ties that corner together. The Verizon is still centered over the door, centered over the window. I mean, granted, your spacing, the one dot, I was working off of the white band being 150 feet. Verizon proportionally can come down just a little bit in order to make that one dot clear space that you need in there and still be visible. I mean, Erie Boulevard, you're right up on the street, doesn't need to be a giant sign. But in an instance like this, what we're talking about is it does anchor that corner, and if you needed to shift it higher to the coping at the top of the parapet there, so that you avoid the
Dot.
not the dot, the security cameras.
Oh.
It's, you're able to do that, but this way it anchors, still gives you everything that you're looking for, fits within the 120 square feet.
Yeah, and if
And
you
we're
had
not-
to make Verizon a smidge smaller to make it.
So basically, instead of having a metal panel, we'd be allowed to paint the ephes. The Chantilly lace, the white.
I think it would be better if it didn't stand proud.
Right.
It was just a white,
A white band that is
With
part of
some
your
kind of
sign
frame.
band, but the lettering would
It's a
still
white band
stand.
with a molding
Yeah.
frame or something, I feel like.
well, I mean, you're taking 100 square feet background sign sheet, right? So the white background that you have between the two signs equates to 120 square feet.
Right.
Right? This is the same thing, so, eye for eye, it doesn't change the amount of the background material that you have. It's still 120 square feet. What's the garage model?
Somebody got a soccer game.
Watching hockey.
Sounds like toy.
I got a 4-hour drive, I'm gonna be listening to it, so. Okay, so
And we're happy to share this with you, but I think
What is the product that the gray is right now?
it's Ethan's.
It's ephes, so that's what I'm saying, like, if you paint that, it's gonna be bumpy, that's why I'm saying, like, some kind of. Even if it's just a,
what is,
Yes.
there
I
wasn't,
mean,
there wasn't
we
a,
can do an aluminum panel.
yeah, that's something that just. it doesn't-
flat, like something flat.
It doesn't need, well, it's 2 inches deep.
It's just,
it
would just
I'm saying a
be.
sheet, use a sheet, like.
No, it's a pan, it's a 2-inch break form pan, so it's 2 inches deep.
Horizon is in front of that, or
And the
you,
horizon is mounted to it. The letters for the horizon are only 3 inches deep, so you're talking about a total depth of the panel and the letters of 5 inches.
can we get like a piece of, just like powder coat, Chantilly lace powder coat of, of metal, like a durable.
It'd be like an aluminum clad backer.
If you do something flat, then there's no way to mount it. So then you're like face mounting it with screws, and then you're touching up the screws with the 2-inch pan. You're using a clip system that's hidden, and the pan is, the panels being mounted to it.
5
Yeah,
inches
we can-
is a lot.
5 inches is not a lot.
Oh, that's for the outside of the
That's-
horizon.
Yeah, that's in the base.
Yeah, I just wanna see the elevation.
The old style chipmunk letters, they had to be 5 inches, just the letters themselves, so.
Yeah, that's not bad. It has the awning over the door and
Right.
I
Yeah.
didn't want it to feel like it was,
Well, you need that for the wiring too. That's the other reason.
That's 2 inches.
Well,
Yeah.
the wiring is inside the
Yes, you
panel,
need
yeah,
that just to run. So,
and you're bringing 1 feet into the building, so.
and then see the gray bottom one has a lip already. That's what I'm saying. We need some kind
Okay, so, Eric, if you don't mind emailing that to me, and then,
That's fine.
and then I'll work with
Yeah.
Verizon and we'll resubmit for next one.
Yeah, and like I said, you can slide it between the camera and the coping at the top.
Well,
Yeah.
then, based on the way that you drew that, we can pop the cameras off and we should be able to mount it to the panel.
You do that.
There'll be enough room so that we can keep the same,
Just the only thing that you gotta look and, again, I was measuring, so when you have dimensions and stuff in this thing, I'm measuring off a picture.
Right.
So take it with a grain of salt,
sure,
and we'd like to see this under your execution of how we kind of wrap that corner and get the two signs there.
and that outside corner too, I think that nice crisp edge.
we can,
Not like-
we can miter that.
Yeah, not
So that,
not
yeah.
a closure piece, a nice crisp edge.
So the 2-inch is going to project past that corner there and just
Just
be
it
mitered.
comes around, goes around
Yep.
that two sides there, and then you can get Verizon, both the same locations that you're showing here. Might be a little bit smaller in order to fit your dot, but I think that's appropriate for the building, the size of the building. It's a little overwhelming on the size of our building,
Okay,
so.
okay.
One of the architects put this into writing for us, so we don't screw anything up when we're sending them.
She's just he's giving him the drawing.
Yeah, the drawing's there. It's-
I didn't know, I
Is that
understand.
enough for you?
Yeah, I understand.
Because you knew the one every have to try to do
different
complicated.
shade of red, looks like orange.
That's just the frame, so
We'll see.
no surprises.
Training.
No surprises.
1,000 hours.
Maybe that little house.
I think it's more than 1,000. It's 15 years of experience.
So you know why they're spending all this money to change these logos?
No, it's.
All right, we gotta move on.
Not against you.
So you can update any of those drawings. You know, work with Eric on submission dates, have it in the back in, you know, love to see it. Thank you for being receptive to that.
In the photo, it looks more orange than the.
That's what I said. It's orangey.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time to do it.
Of course, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for making the drive. And I had to go downtown where there's a high-rise building, an admin building, for Verizon that we're talking. Yep.
So as long as you're here, that's fine, but if you're not, you can always join remote and save yourself the 8 hours behind the wheel.
Yeah, thank you very much. I live just north of West Point.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. We've all worked at West Point. And you have, right? Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Basic restoration.
Cornwall, just north. So,
Thank you.
thank you very
Thank you.
much.
All right, LAPD. Our representatives here for LAPD.
Might not be, I didn't hear back.
Guys back there are gonna say no, because they want to get out of here.
So Eric, you can work with them and reiterate the comments
With LA painting.
with LAPD. Courtyard EV chargers.
Hi, yes, Bridget O'Connor, I'm here.
Welcome
Hey,
back.
Bridget.
Hi. You all virtually again.
Bridget, when we finally approve these, are you just gonna attend because you'll miss us?
Yes, I do miss you guys. Actually, I have another, another project.
They're not as fun as us.
All
So
right,
very minor change. This was one you already approved back in February, end of February meeting. We were about to break ground and the customer asked that we move the stations back one parking row to the west. So same exact scope of work, nothing has changed. Just instead of that first row on the left-hand side of the building, we are putting the stations in the second row. Which, makes more sense because it's really prime parking there in that first row. So that was really a mistake on our part. We should have vetted this location better. So we're still coming off of the power source right there on the left side of the building.
Against the building.
And then we moved it.
One more, yeah.
Yeah, we looked at a few locations here actually.
But in terms of
Yeah.
the configuration, number of stations, location, none of that, I mean, it's the same as the second row.
Honestly, everything's the same. We just slid it back a row. Yep. So everything's the same.
Oh, these are level 2s.
Level 2 stations, correct.
They were the bigger ones. The
No,
smaller ones.
These are the
smaller ones.
Yeah, we wanted the bigger ones closer to the pool. Okay, yeah. Never mind.
Okay.
The bigger ones are going across the street at the Embassy Suites.
Yes.
Those are actually getting installed, I think, next week.
Mhm.
The level 2s are already in over there. We don't have anything powered up yet, but we'll have the level 3s installed next week.
These are the big ones.
Oh, commercial.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions on this one?
The only thing, same thing as the last approval, the sign still says EV parking only.
Okay, yep.
So I have that same amendment as
Yep.
last time.
Can we get the drawing revised, just so it doesn't end up in there, or are you?
Yes, so I
posting
have
it?
this as an appendix attached to the end of the drawing.
Okay, I'm sorry I missed that.
No, that's fine. So
Yeah.
it's just saying that you're not excluding the parking
Correct.
because that
Yeah.
would affect the parking count.
So,
Yep.
kind of, we have to say with the amended sign.
Got that.
Do you want a new plan set with that page changed out or?
I don't think we do.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All. Yes. And then, no. All right, unless there are any other comments or questions. We need to. Is there anything we need to do Is anybody opposed to approve this one and push it along? Okay. I'll put forth a motion to approve the modified site plan dated 4/29/2025. It's further modification of the planning board approval on February 27th, 2025. This board has reviewed the SEAF of applicant dated 5/2/2025 and granted a negative secret declaration for this unlisted action with no significant adverse environmental impacts from the project. This approval is made with the condition that the sign on Appendix A that reads electrical vehicle charging station will be used instead of the sign on sheet A3 project details that reads electrical vehicle parking only. Unauthorized vehicles will be notified. Vehicle owners expense and risk. This approval is made with the further condition that, except as specifically modified herein, the planning board approval of February 27th, 2025 is in full force and effect and unmodified. I will move second. Kathy, all in favor? Great. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Have a great evening.
Are you sticking around for the next one?
No,
No?
He's already sent out.
no.
All right. Courtyard signs and facade.
Hello, this is Nayan Patel. I'm representing the Courtyard in Syracuse.
Wonderful. The floor is yours.
Sorry, so this is the first time I'm doing this, so I'm not sure how this process works pretty much.
So,
My first
yeah.
meeting.
You provided us with drawings and an application. If you can kind of just walk us through what you're asking of this board. And then
Sure.
we'll take a look at it.
Sure. So we are pretty much updating the exterior signage. We are putting all together 5 new signage up there where we are currently located, including the pylon sign. And then for the brand standard, which is from the Marriott, we are required to update the exterior facade of the building to make it more modernized, and a canopy.
When you said pylon sign, which sign are you talking about?
There's a one right by the road. There's a small pylon sign that needs to be replaced with a new logo.
Okay, the monument sign?
Correct.
Okay.
And you said there's a total of 5 signs?
Yes.
Have the count?
No, we have
Is that many?
3.
Or can you show us on this plan where the 5 signs are?
I'm so sorry. It's 4 actually. So one is if you look at the monument sign is number 2. Then the first front of the building sign is number 1. Then we have one on the throughway side is number 3. And then on the left hand side, that's the number 4.
And variance what was allowed with this site originally?
So they originally came for, back in the previous sign code, you couldn't have the signs too close to property lines. That's changed now, except for detached signs abutting a residential zone. So they were going for variances for the location of, there was a previous pylon sign up by the thruway. So now that has been replaced with an attached building sign that didn't have express approval as far as we could tell from our records, which is now in a location that is not allowed by right.
That's number 4.
Can you back up and say that
Yeah,
again?
it gets a little, so
They got a variance for something?
With a variance for
in
that?
1990,
Right. 89. 1989, they got a variance for a pylon sign. The variance was for off of the property line away from the throughway. And for their monument sign, also for distance off of the road. That was the variance that they received in
So they had a
1989.
variance to have a pylon sign.
The variance is not for the pylon sign. We believe they got that pylon sign by right at that time.
Okay, so.
But it was
the
variance was for the
location to the
location.
lot line
Okay,
of the pylon sign to the lot line.
they wanted it closer than.
That was allowed
Okay.
back then,
So,
But the
but
pylon sign's gone,
it was gone.
and they're not allowed in the town anymore. Okay.
So now there's an
Yeah.
attached building sign in
so
the
they
same
moved the
general
pylon
location.
sign to the building. which was not approved.
We can't.
Correct,
write-
as far as we have our records, it was not.
Okay, so number 4, unless you have records from Courtyard,
Okay,
the standing right now is sign number 4 was never approved. And would not be allowed under the current code.
okay, okay.
Put a pin in number 4 for now. Number 3,
No approval,
this was another,
also not allowed. In the original, so they did 2 requests to the ZBA in 1989. The first one included sign number 3, that was denied. They came back a couple of months later and requested the variance for the pylon sign, again, distance only, and the monument sign. Sign number 3 was not mentioned the second application to the ZBA.
okay, so sign number 3 was added, not approved. And again, under current code, not
It
allowed.
may have at the time,
Well,
it may have at the time been allowed by the code.
but did you not say that it was not approved?
The
We
variance,
Oh,
the variance at that time.
The
was not
variance
approved.
or what?
Again, it was
Was it a variance for install?
distance, it was
It was
just.
just
Distance from the property line.
But you said,
Even.
Yep, the monument, the pylon, and the attached sign
number 3,
Yeah,
were for distance from the property line. That's what they went for a variance for in 89.
and number 3 was denied.
though that first one for all 3 was denied.
Okay, so if it was denied, it should not have been put on that design.
That,
Yeah,
the monument sign was approved.
The monument sign
distance.
and the pylon sign were approved on the second application to ZBA, so they came in February of 89, came back in April of 89.
So February, all of them were denied. Came back in April, the
Only
pylon and the monument sign were approved, there was no mention of number 3. Number 3 would not have been allowed at,
But Eric's saying that if it was allowed by right, that wouldn't have been part of the variance.
Right, so
It was the location of it.
it was the location, the distance again, even on the building sign,
Like,
first
the
application.
distance from property.
so we need clarity on that one.
It might have been allowed at the time.
So, but we have that piece in the code where all non-conforming signs need to be brought in conformance or removed.
Right.
Right.
So I think at this point, if they wanted it to stay, it would.
It would be a variance.
They would have to go for a variance. Okay, so number 3 is another one that is not. It's a non-conforming sign at this point and would require you to go to the ZBA to get approval, get a variance for its location, because it's non-conforming, it's not allowed on that side of the building.
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Under the current code, the one sign that is allowed is number 1 here, your new sign. So that's the one that you are just allowed by right. The monument sign exists, you're just upping the structure. So that is up to the planning board. So these 2 are allowed. It's these other 2 that are facing the highway and the parking lot that would require a ZBA.
Okay, so I have to go for the CBA variance for the number 3 or number 4? Because like the way I'm looking at, I'm sorry.
It's number 3 and number 4.
And you get 120 square feet for all of your signs combined, that includes the monument sign. So we haven't figured out all the square footages yet, but that would be another variance if that would be over 120 square feet.
So the way we're looking at it, right? So for the visuality wise, the one by the throughway is more important for us for business purposes and whatnot, right? So I'm okay to let go the number 1 that's in the front of the building, but can we have number 3 or number 4?
We would not be able to make that, that has to go to ZBA.
So that's a separate board. You would
Okay.
make your presentation to the zoning board of appeals.
Okay,
That would be a separate application.
got you.
And-
Okay,
Then this board would have to make a recommendation to the ZBA based on that. And
Understood.
generally, we do not approve signs that front on the throughway.
understood. Okay.
So we covered the signs, the other part of it was the canopy, right?
Yep, we
How
have.
big is the current sign that faces? Or the proposed? I don't think that's-
Right there, okay. Yeah,
That looks like that.
I don't know that the dimensions are on here and I haven't done the math. I mean,
Yeah.
the dimensions are, but the square footage.
Right. And these would all be backlit, red letters, all that.
There's dimensions, but it's not calculated down.
Get there. I wouldn't trust them.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, so. Are you clear on kind of? Signs 1, 2, 3, and 4, what's allowed, what's not allowed, where you have to go to ZBA? Well, he did, I mean, Solana gave the 120 square feet combined.
Yeah, so you can contact our office,
Okay.
and the next step would be submitting an application to the ZBA. For the location of signs 3 and 4.
Okay.
And also, you know, we need to look at square footage. The total square footage of all 4 signs, that would be another variance if it's over 120 square feet.
Understood.
So 3 variants.
Ruby Tuesday has a pylon sign
It's,
too.
it is not it's not in the town of Dewitt.
Where is it?
Syracuse or something.
All
Oh, I
right, so
remember
let's
there
talk
were
about the
lots,
canopy.
And I think it was like.
Sure.
So you're revising the existing canopy and making it larger?
So it's just the town of Dewitt.
Yeah, so we are pretty much taking out the roof, using the pre-existing metal that's there, and just making it a flat canopy.
So the hip roof structure will no longer be there, it'll just be a flat canopy, so it'll actually reduce the height in that space. And then material wise, are you changing materials on the building?
Correct. If you look at those where your arrow is right now, those are the new cladding, aluminum cladding going to be going on that ephes.
So you're covering the existing ephes with a aluminum cladding.
Correct. It's like a decorative aluminum cladding, pretty much.
Is there a wall section?
No. So one of the things this board requires is a wall section for any new construction, so
Okay.
provide that to show existing conditions and what you're adding.
Okay.
And how it interfaces with the
Yeah.
roof line too. And the.
Right.
Colors.
Yeah, and then I don't know where you're located out of, but we'll want to see samples of the materials.
Okay.
So select colors and send those samples along.
Okay.
Renderings. Maybe just some signage.
What are the thoughts?
It's the one we can sign change.
Yep.
Oh, and we, on the monument sign, you have to have the number of your street address.
Okay.
And there's requirements of the size, right?
4 inches.
4 inches.
Yes, the letters, the numbers should be 4 inches for the address.
Okay.
All right, so my suggestion is to contact planning office, talk to Alana or Eric.
Okay.
And they'll guide you in terms of what needs to be completed for applications and getting back in front of us.
Yep. Thank you.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciated you guys' time. Thank you.
Next up, we have hidden level.
level.
Yeah. So it is.
Hi, I'm Steve Oliva. We own the building at 6757 Kitty Street. Building's like 13,760 square feet. We have a tenant hidden level that needs a higher roof in this building. So most of this building is warehouse. Front is office, this front section is office space. And they need the height in here for these chambers that they're buying for. The chambers test the drone frequencies. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with what hidden level does.
Saw the
But-
paper last.
Yeah, that's so they're a tenant of ours now, but they make devices to jam drones and stuff like that. So if you got enemy drones or something like that, they can jam them, take them down. They can find them, jam them, and take them down. That's basically what they do for the government. So anyways, they need this height. They have these chambers that are like 27 feet tall. They're just there's no load on them or anything like that. There's not even insulated walls. But they need this. They can't really even tell us what they need it for. It's not like there's not a lot of power. There's no noise and stuff like that. But they test their software in these chambers.
So. Can I ask one question, a statement that you just made in terms of no insulation? I mean, it's gonna have to meet energy code.
No, the chamber inside.
Chamber inside.
Inside the
not wall
building.
that you're doing.
Yeah, that's why the height.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously the structure is gonna be.
I thought you were talking about the, well.
No. So anyways, we're proposed going up, we need to go up, 32'6" or 32'8" because the chambers are like, let's say 27, they have to work on top of the chambers when they change lights and whatever else they need to do, so they need at least 4 feet to move around on top of the chambers. I think we're underneath the height requirement.
Based on your definition, no structure shall be higher than the plane from the lot lines. Inclined enough to slope of 1 foot vertically or 4 foot horizontally. So we show on the plans that there were setbacks on either side that were actually understood that
We'll go to
just shy of 33 feet.
So
Yeah, the elevations, if you keep.
yeah, this is the whole building right here. It's again 13,760 square feet. This area right here, 4,260 square feet. We'd have to raise the roof here. So you're still having building here and here and a little bit here. This is the parking lot side, and it's basically going to grow out of the middle of the building. And we already have a structural wall here. We have a structural wall here, which are masonry on the inside. This will have to put a beam in and extra columns. And this is a structural wall as well. IPD did the engineering on it, and I have all those structural drawings and so forth, but for purposes of the planning board, this is what we're looking like. These are the chambers. One's larger than the other two.
Those anechoic chambers, is that what they call them?
I haven't heard that term mentioned. But again, we have to sign all these forms and security codes and all this kind of clearance. But anyways, again, I'm not really sure what they do in here, but it's not noisy. The chambers aren't heavy, they're just high. There's not a lot of power at all required of these. We're gonna air condition the space with a new what's it called? A roof RTU, but it's called an anon unit right here. That's very specific to humidity in there because it's so high. They need the humidity to stay a certain level.
Is that what we need?
We need windows that open. But anyway, so this is what we're proposing. We're proposing it made out of metal, the same metal band that's around the building, same color. If they don't match, we'll paint the existing banding around the building to make it all match. It's a brown color, so it won't stand out hopefully that much. And there's no additional parking requirement. Again, we're talking just cubic feet of height. The building, I think, is, I don't know, 15 clear on the inside, or maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna be like, let's say 18 clear on the inside, on top of that.
So site modifications. I mean, you got a dumpster addition.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yes. Well, we have bollards right here from the existing tenant that we put in years ago. So we're gonna do a dumpster enclosure here because we assume that you guys wanted that. So we added a dumpster enclosure.
You're not able to actually do it there because it's front yard.
Okay. Well, where could we do it then?
So that's the question.
Side or rear of the building.
Well, they kind of have two front yards.
Right.
Yeah, so.
side.
Mhm.
Like in the back of the building, like here? This area?
Yeah, like not along one of the road frontages, since you have two side yards.
Okay,
You gotta be.
Yeah,
so.
there or.
I mean, we
the other
can't do
one.
anything here. I mean, we could do it here. We own the property here too, so there have to be some kind of.
Well, and that was gonna be to the next, you got access, it looks like to an overhead door.
Yeah,
From
this-
an adjacent property.
Yeah. This is already, when this building, there was a building addition like this built in 2000, right here, that was approved by the board and so forth. So we built that.
As part of that approval, do you know, Steve, if there was a cross-access agreement, like how do you?
I don't know. I mean, this is all blacktop right now, so I don't know, probably not at the time, 2000, I'm not sure. But I mean, we could.
What happens when you sell the building next door and?
Yeah, right, I get it. We don't plan on it, but I get it. Yeah, so
Right.
we'll probably have to come up with something then.
Yeah, maybe put the dumpster enclosure over there too and just access the dumpster from that driveway and then do that agreement to make that driveway legal.
Okay.
We also noticed that this is on like 6 different lots.
Yeah, what we did is we got a new survey. And we're in the process of re-subdividing everything we want. We have the plan already. I just haven't filled out the application fully yet. Cause yeah, we wanna get all those lots. So,
I'm
yeah.
gonna ask you to do that.
Yeah, no, we just didn't initially, but yeah, we're gonna combine all the 6 into one. I have the plan, but again, I didn't.
When it comes to-
Application, all of it, yeah. There's there's other
Yeah, we'll do the
elevations.
elevations real quick.
And we tried to make it, this is that unit in the back. I mean, this unit is specific to this ceiling height. Done by the IPD engineers. We have an existing RTU right here.
That will also probably need to be screened.
Yeah, I was worried about that. I gotta see about that. I mean. Can we screen it from this side? Cause this side faces our other building, or no? We don't have a lot of room to screen it, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at, I mean, we tend to not wanna see. That rooftop building, you'll certainly see it from the road or the top there and see it from the adjacent property.
I mean, otherwise they could put it on top of the new building. You're designing a new building anyway, so.
We can't put it on top.
No, structurally,
Structurally and
it's gotta go on that lower.
it's gotta go through the building right here for the adequate humidity and airflow and everything. That's just
I will say I appreciate you showing it on there, because not a lot of documents actually show the rooftop equipment that needs to be on there, so I do.
well, we had to because this was part of their,
Right.
part of the requirements. Again, IPD, we hired them and they did the whole schematic there.
So it's facing your other building.
Yeah, our other building is, the side of our other building is right here, which is
Yeah.
6770 Old Town
Yeah,
Road.
so I guess I felt like there was space, if like looking at that other elevation, isn't that bottom elevation right there showing the HVAC unit and the space outside of it?
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from here to here. The unit, well, there's writing in the way here. It kind of sits in the middle of this section here. I think it's 24 feet.
Yeah, if I'm just saying, I feel like there's room to screen it. It'll be good for whoever has to maintain it too, because then it won't fall off the edge.
The only thing about screening I always worry about is snow load.
Saving from having to put some kind of roof rail or a
Maybe
gas
we're
rail
under
over
that,
OSHA.
we're shy of, we're not, we're less than 10 feet. So we're under.
The working space is less than.
More than 10 feet.
Yeah, so we're just under the distance requirement.
Yeah, I mean, so that would be a comment from the board.
Okay.
Material wise,
It's the same siding as obviously we can bring in a piece and so forth like that. It's the same siding as what's existing, this whole band here.
We're
And
rendering on the front.
yeah,
that's just
but
the,
it was kind of monotone in color. We're trying to figure out what it actually is and what it looks like.
Yeah, right now it's kind of a dark brown, like a bronze stone,
Yeah.
so it's gonna match that.
All of our buildings in that area pretty much have a band around the top of them like that. What other, there's also another, there's a sign, we'd have to, we were adding a new sign in front. It's a single tenant building. There was a sign, that our original tenant brought, from their old building, and they put it on. If, you could go to the front page. This. And, you know, they left and they had a bunch of holes in it. And now we always go with a box sign, illuminated box sign, LED, because when tenants move in and out, it's easy to change the face. And most of our buildings in that area have all that, especially the one across the street, the one behind it, and the one after that. So it's consistent, the cavity or the box is brown, bronze, which would match the siding. And the faceplate is white.
Does the new roofing match for the race section match what you have?
Yes, it will. Yes, they make it still. And what do you, the roofing or the?
Or, yeah, the roofing, there's a EVM or something.
Oh, okay, the roofing is, on the existing building is a foam, which we can't stand, quite frankly. We bought this building back and the previous owner, foamed it. And foam is just, it's been a nightmare for us in that building. So we're foaming this back in around the edges. But we're going with EPDM or TPO maybe on top. It's a lot easier to maintain for us. We have our own crew, but the foam has not been beneficial to us. So we're only building with foam roof. And that's
With
one
your
of my
next,
best.
with your next submission, could you add some sign details?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I have that. I didn't just put it on that thing.
Was there a wall section here or was there?
I don't recall seeing a wall section.
There's a wall.
I didn't look.
No, not on, we got architectural, but not on.
Yeah.
We could put it
on the
on there.
application checklist, there's a wall section is required.
We'll take it from the engineer drawings and have Mark put that on.
That's fine. It's gotta be on there so we can see interaction materials, you know, call out all the materials. So, yes.
This project is, you know, obviously like all of our projects, tight time frame. But, you know, we're hoping to get this thing approved so we can start as soon as possible because they have to order these chambers. And the chambers take, you know, 6 months, but they're trying to, because of their contracts with the government, they need these ASAP.
Always, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, but the government goes slow, but the government contractors need to move fast. So.
All right. I would say take a look at some of that site stuff. Get your application to re-subdivide everything.
Yeah.
Cross access, dumpster location, wall section materials.
Sign details.
Sign details.
Alana, will you send that, or Eric, will you send that, or do you want me to, I can remember one.
I'll put your comments together. Yeah.
You can?
I'll put your
Okay,
comments
thanks.
together.
Yeah, and then we'll go from there. So the next session that you would, I mean, they're already here at this point, track A, so the 1st of July. So there's whatever the next submission deadline.
June 26 for the July 10th meeting.
So June 26 is your target date to.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem to do that. My only question is, I mean, the feel for the planning board, this project looks like it can go, or I mean, because the problem is we'd have to order the steel. The steel is gonna take 4 weeks or 6 weeks.
I mean, a straw poll on the board right now in terms of
That's our only caveat.
size and, you know, I think you work out the little details that we talked about here, but I don't see objection from this board in terms of what you're attempting to do.
Okay, all right, I appreciate that. All right, so, you know, we'll get those, I'll get that from Eric, we'll put them on the plan, we'll resubmit before the 26th.
Can you submit the,
Yeah, so the
Re-subdivision.
re-subdivision, yeah, I'll do that too. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Thank you.
All right, any other business? Any other? Kevin?
He's back. He's on vacation still. It was 3 weeks vacation.
Motion to adjourn the meeting? Second? All in favor? Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Here, we'll be back with, out of your teeth.